There's a bigger issue here. Just because a group of people belong to the Federation, it does not mean that they are saints. The trouble is Earth. On Earth, there is no poverty, no crime, no war. You look out the window of Starfleet headquarters and you see paradise. Well, it's easy to be a saint in paradise. Out there, all the problems haven't been solved yet. Out there are no saints, just people. Angry, scared, determined people who are going to do whatever it takes to survive.
What I want to know is, out of all the stories you told me, which ones were true and which ones weren't?
My dear doctor, they're all true.
Even the lies?
Especially the lies.
On behalf of the Bajoran government
And the Promenade Merchants Association,
I officially welcome you to Deep Space Nine.
Welcome back, everybody, to Especially the Lies, a Deep Space Nine podcast. We are back to discuss Profit and Loss from Season 2 of Deep Space Nine. For those of you who are just joining us, the way this show works, and believe me, we don't have it all figured out, so if you're a little lost, we don't blame you. But we're going to start off with getting some first impressions from our cast of characters here, which includes longtime fans of Star Trek and Deep Space Nine, as well as a few folks that are watching this show for the very first time. We will then go through some discussion, throw those newbies out, and proceed to discuss all the spoilers and things that we don't want them to know about. I am your host, and my name is Blake, and with me is...
Prentice.
Emily.
Christopher.
Nicole.
Mike.
And Jessi.
And Christopher, I understand you've got some thoughts and feels and wanted to do the synopsis for this one, so what do you got?
Bashir and Garrick go on a date. Garrick is called into Commander Sisko's office to be asked about his intentions, and later shoots his ex. Meanwhile, the best Loeb job that Quark ever received walks into a bar, and he falls in love all over again.
Okay.
That was a good one. That was good.
Interesting.
Well, that picked out the highlights.
Yeah, that got some of the highlights, yeah. So let's go ahead and get the first impressions from those who have not seen the show. And after that, I just got it. Christopher, why not get your whole first impressions out?
So I actually thought that this was a stellar episode. Quark is normally such like a good comedic foil, but he really carried this one in one that is more kind of drama based, right? Because like you saw him in the Negus, and he could carry those type of episodes, but Armin Shimmerin did such a good job carrying this episode. Him and the guy who played Garrick, he was exceptional too. And this was a highlight episode of the season for me so far.
Nicole?
I have to say, I actually really liked this episode as well. It was kind of cool to learn a little bit more background about Garrick, because nobody really knows like why he's there, because he's the only Cardassian still on the ship, right? Or on the base, whatever it is. Station. Sorry, I couldn't think of the words.
There we go. That's the word.
Yeah. So he's the only Cardassian on the station, right? So why the hell is he there? Well, we know because he was exiled. So that was interesting to learn. I liked the fact that we got a little bit more background on him and finding out why he was there, what he was doing there, because even Sisko says we're not really sure what his intentions are, right? So, and nobody really knew why he was there, what he was up to. Everyone assumed he was a spy. So it was cool to get that. I also really enjoyed Quark in this one. As we know, I did not start out as a fan of Quark, but he's been growing on me, and I really enjoyed him in this episode. Like Christopher said, he's usually kind of a comedic ass, but like we saw a different side of him. And I think that's why I like this episode so much, is because of the character building, different sides of the characters. Even like when he begged Odo and hugged Odo, and like him and Odo, that's another great duo that we had in this. Because as much as Odo despises Quark, they know each other so well. And I feel like secretly deep down, they're like buddies, you know? But it was kind of fun to watch their dynamic. And Quark calls him out. He's like, you say that you know me so well. Well, I know you too. And I just really enjoyed that dynamic. But yeah, I really thought this was a good episode. It was probably one of the best ones we've seen so far this season. I actually really, really liked it.
Yay, Jesse's back.
Yay.
Yay. Is
We-
Ted back is the real question.
Ted is back.
Ted is a
Ted
menace,
does
but Ted
not-
is an adorable menace.
Ted does not enjoy the fact that we live in an apartment. He thinks we're poor now, so
That you're gonna have that talk with Ted. That might I'll just let you have that talk with Ted.
he says, "Oh, we live in an apartment. We're poor. I think I'll pass."
No more premium kibble, my man.
Yep, now you're getting
No, now he gets
Grand
Yeah.
Alpo.
Yeah, dude, you're eating Arby's with the rest of us.
It's the good shit.
I
The
like
shit that's
Arby's.
really bad for him, but tastes really good. So do I.
So Jesse, how about your first impressions on this episode?
It was fine. I don't really like the Frang Dacian softcore porn that I had to watch the whole time, but I'm a prude, so I just don't understand why they put their erotic zones out in the open. It'd be like putting your clit on your fucking chin. It's weird to me.
Well, considering what I will just say, a few people that I will say in the pants that they wear in public,
That's true.
it's not far off from full display anyway.
And to
Well,
be fair,
you know.
we are. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you just can't touch it. Like, I can run by and grab a Ferengie's ear and just pop him off real quick and just keep moving. It's so fucking weird.
But the
Well, we
president
are
says you
watching
can
this-
just walk by and just grab anyone by there,
You
I
know,
mean-
grab him by the you know what?
Yeah,
Some-
it's true.
Oh God.
All those dudes that are super into feet, just walking around looking at people in sandals. I mean, it's
That's
not.
why you don't wear
Ugh.
fucking open-toed shoes around just everybody. It's
Welcome
weird.
back, Jesse.
This is why we've missed Jesse.
We are watching a show about outer space, so we might see somebody who has something that looks like a clit on their chin. You never know what kind of creative costumes we're gonna see.
Well, I mean, the last show was buttholes, so
Yeah,
I
we had
mean,
buttholes.
Right.
If we don't
I mean,
see a
like-
chin clit, I'm gonna be mad.
God.
Does that officially qualify as a prediction, Nicole? That
Yes, it
I
does.
just-
We're gonna see a chin clit.
Bring fucking quality to this podcast. You're all welcome. What do you guys possibly
were-
talk about when I'm not here?
we were having serious discussions about like socioeconomic issues, and then Jesse popped in, and
and it's chin clits.
Sorry. I mean, you're not not wrong for
sorry.
buttholes on the last one. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I just like it's like hers were on her neck. Like whatever we fucking watching, they're like getting it in. Anyway, it was fine. It was a fine episode. So glad I could join you all back for this wonderful shit.
And let's switch over to those of us who have seen this show quite a few times and start with Prentice.
Love the episode. Anytime you get a chance to see the backstory or learn more about the backstory of Garrett, it's a good episode. He did a great job, I think, as others have said already, having Quark play a different kind of role, saying he has a little bit of a heart, hearing about what he did for the Bajorans during the occupation. You kind of like him a little bit more. So overall, it was a great episode. I'm glad because I know it's been kind of slow for the last, 4 or 5 episodes. So as we round out the season, it's good to see an episode focus on character development and give a little backstory about some of the characters we see, but we don't often interact with a lot during the course of the show, at least so far.
Mike.
yeah, I think everybody hit the nail on the head already. I really liked this episode. I mean, simply put, I love the character of Garrick, and I love the character of Quark, and Odo is in it to a lesser extent, but I love Odo as well, and so there's just a lot of fun dynamics that happen between those characters kind of taking the stage in this one. We can talk more in detail about everybody's thoughts on Garrick, but yeah, I mean, the gist is it's a lore episode. It builds up a little bit of the background on some of those characters that we haven't gotten to know just yet, and showing a little bit of different depth and different dimension to them, and I just really enjoyed it.
Emily, your first impressions.
I like this episode. I think it's a good episode. I actually enjoy the back and forth between Quark and Garrick in Garrick's shop and how they're talking about a dress without ever talking about the dress. For characters that are not main characters, this was an amazing episode because it really gave us like background on them and to see them develop more.
You know, one of the fun things about it too is like I don't know that we've really ever seen those two characters interact with one another before. And so it's always fun to kind of like see those different odd couple pairings like come together for a scene.
I'll agree with what I believe everyone has said. I do enjoy this episode. I think this is one of the better episodes out of this kind of run we've had in season 2. And one of the things I'll comment on, in one of you mentioned it, but it's that combination on screen of Armin Shimmerman as Quark and Rene Auberjonois as Odo. And I've made the comparison before that it's kind of like with Babylon 5 when you would have Londo and Jakar on screen and the way those two would play off of each other. You put Quark and Odo together, and it's that same kind of dynamic in many ways. And I love when those two are in scenes together. And also Dr. Bashir and Garrick. Those two together, and especially listening to Andrew Robinson talk about the way he played Garrick, and he's flat out said in an interview before, I approached Garrick and played Garrick and looked at Julian Bashir and went, I want to fuck this man. And that's how he then played Garrick, was as someone who wanted to get it on with Bashir.
Well, he
Not
nailed
any
it.
note from the producers, not any intention of the writers. That's just how Andrew Robinson read the script and decided that's how he was going to play it. And I think this one, Christopher, in your synopsis, when you said Garrick and Bashir went on a date, pretty much, yeah, that's about the way it went. So let's move into just some discussion around this episode. One thing I want to note on a production side of it. So during the filming of this was the 94 Northridge earthquake in Los Angeles. And I bring that up because we discussed this on Gray 17 also, that Jerry Doyle, who played Garibaldi on that show at the time, was couch surfing. And that show was still in production, and he was living with Andreas Katsoulis at the time. And one of the stories he told at the Phoenix Comic Con about them was the damage that was done to Andreas's house that the man was too cheap to fix, because that's just how he was. But also when they were trying to get groceries and different things and the set, and one of the same things happened, the cast from Babylon 5 left in full makeup to go check on their homes and their families. But so did the cast from DS9. So you have Armin Shimmerman fully in makeup as Quark. You've got other cast members in makeup as Cardassians, and they're all leaving the set to go check on their families. And they said it must have been quite the scene in Los Angeles when you've got all of these creatures running around in full makeup and costume to go check on families. So that was an interesting crossover. We've heard both shows talk about the impact of this earthquake now.
I mean, it's LA. They've probably seen weirder,
Oh yeah,
right?
they fit right in. They fit right in.
It was normal. It was just another day. All right, so who wants to jump in and start off our conversation on this one? Nicole?
I say we start with Garrick because he was the most mysterious out of all of them. So, okay, so it was interesting to learn that he was exiled as a tailor and stuck there on B5. And it was also,
DS9.
I'm sorry. See, now you got me thinking B5. Thank you, DS9. Okay, anyways, it was interesting to me that he was exiled because I couldn't see why he would still be there, but it makes sense now. And the fact that nobody really knew why he was there, everyone assumed he was a spy, that he was this, he was a plant or whatever, but really, he got exiled and the Cardassians turned on him. So he's kind of like independent on his own, doing his own thing. When that Tehran guy showed up and kind of talked mad shit to him, I was like, well, I hate this guy because, first of all, the Cardassians are ugly. But second of all, I fucking hated his attitude. But when Garrick caught them going out to the ship and had the gun, I was kind of like, this motherfucker, he is a spy. He is a bad guy, blah, 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 blah. But I don't know if you guys caught it. He said that he didn't agree with what the Cardassians wanted, but he was going to do it anyway or whatever. And then this Tehran guy shows up and he just blows his ass away. Also, was it interesting to me that he evaporated when he got shot? Is that what happens, I guess, on DS9 is when you get shot, you just evaporate? Like, okay.
Well, it depends on what setting the phaser's on.
Yeah. But I just thought that was kind of interesting. But I guess maybe I was, and maybe this is a question, but if anyone else wants to kind of weigh in, do you think Garrick knew that Tehran was going to show up and he was going to let them go anyway and shoot him? Or was it kind of a change of heart? Because he made it clear that he didn't agree with the Cardassian stance on wanting to kill these people, right? But he was going to kill them. So I don't know if it was kind of all planned. I'm thinking maybe he kind of knew, and that's kind of what he was thinking, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
I kind of think it was a change of heart, right? He was trying to get back to Cardassia, trying to get back to his homeland. And he was willing to do anything to do so. But he sees that Natima and her students are providing a better option, a better way forward for Cardassia. And that gives him a sense of hope. He said that he shot Turan for love, right? For love of Cardassia. And I believe that. I believe that he understands that maybe this isn't going to be what gets him back. This exile isn't going to end, but he knows that by them surviving, that Cardassia is going to be better.
Well, and I also thought too, if he lets them go and they do survive and they do complete their mission and kind of like change Cardassia, they're not going to forget that. So they'll probably invite him back. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a win-win for him too. And Christopher, the point that you brought up, how he loves Cardassia, I love that at the end when him and Quark, why I love her, why I love Cardassia. You just don't understand it. That was really cute at the ending, how they were talking about that. But I also wondered that too. I was like, well, because you even saw the guy, I forgot his name. He was like, thank you, we won't forget this, essentially. You know what I mean? So, like, I thought it was a win-win for him either way because he got rid of the asshole. He did something right for them, these people, and then he'll probably end up getting thanked by them later if they succeed.
I like how they kind of paint Garrick as being, more or less in the same situation as the students. By saying, I love Cardassia, but also now they've revealed that he's been exiled because he's on the outs with his planet and his people, kind of puts him into that same corner of like, he thinks he must have gotten in trouble for doing something that he thought he was for the best that the administration didn't agree with. And so that's exactly where the students are at in that same kind of scenario.
And I like how it kind of shows that you can be patriotic. You can have a love for your nation, your world, your people, and it doesn't have to be in agreement with the government, right? That you don't have to toe the line in order to have a sense of pride in who you are and where you come from. And it's something to think of right now.
That's a big reoccurring theme where I'm just going to say it. One group in particular, one party, likes to portray people that are critical of policy as being anti-American, anti-patriotic.
Yep.
But it's not. It's the exact opposite. If people are speaking up against something that's going on, if they want to make our country better by pointing out that it has flaws that need to be fixed, that doesn't make them unpatriotic. It doesn't mean they hate America. It means they love it and they want to make it better.
Right. Well, and
Bingo.
remembering that it wasn't always that great for a lot of people.
Right.
So the whole standing for the flag thing and how unpatriotic it is. And it's like, my grandpa fought and died for this country. Your grandpa fought and died for their right to not stand up for that fucking flag. So they always find something new to paint people as unpatriotic, even though the people that usually are not standing for it are the ones that the country is not working for. So
gotta love modern post 9/11 patriotism.
Yeah. Well, and further that point without, I don't want to, we could talk for hours about this topic right now, but it's it also, like you said, it doesn't do anybody any good to romanticize the past and pretend that certain things didn't happen or certain things weren't the way that they were.
Would you be referring to Southerners?
Oh, not just Southerners, let me tell you. But yeah, I mean, it's like you talk to your parents. You're one generation old. They're going to be like, "Oh, everything was better and simpler in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s." It's like, yeah, everybody wants to live in their like bullshit television, Leave It to Beaver version of what the past really was, but like it's just not reality.
Right. Well, I found it.
There's a whole article and news thing about the whole idea of people wanting the myth of Mayberry and that it never existed that way.
Yeah.
Well, people will convince themselves that anything in the past is different and better than it is now when they're in that headspace. I mean, there's a whole segment of flat earthers and stuff out there that are convinced that the sun used to look different than it does right now.
Well, and when you start taking away funding for education, so you can not learn the ability to think for yourselves, you purposely put out misinformation, and the media literacy that you're supposed to gain through school, they're making us dumber so they can control us more.
It's those dirty liberals, Christopher. They just want to make all the people socialist. God damn it.
I know we do.
You know, but I guess that leads me into one of the things that I took from this too was like, did anybody catch that they called them terrorists?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
wrote that
like,
down.
well, we do that a lot. We call and categorize people who have just been fed up and are fighting for basic human fucking rights. We call them terrorists or extremists or fucking Antifa or whatever the fuck like label that we've labeled them today. And I found it interesting because I had a conversation in one of my college classes about how America creates terrorists. And this isn't a new concept, but like it was back then for me because it was that like free thinking, like, well, wait a minute, like, why do they hate us? You know what I mean? Hate us. Like everybody hates America. Well, why? And then you sit back and you think and you're like, well, when you go in and you fucking blow to the fucking ground 98% of their infrastructure, it's interesting why you would think that somebody would hate the entity that ruined their entire ability to exist. So it was an interesting concept. And I like how they just kind of slid it in today. It wasn't like a major point. So
When you even look at, for context of when we're recording this, is not that long after a group of members of the U.S. Congress recorded a video in which they said that you should not follow illegal orders, which is the Nuremberg defense. Nuremberg held that simply receiving an order does not make your action legal. And that's basically what they said was, you should not follow illegal orders, which then led to the President of the United States calling them seditious. They've been referred to as the Seditious Six. There's been posts from the president on down saying that sedition is punishable by death and should be hanged.
Oh, I'd love to see them try Mark Kelly, put him on trial. Go right ahead.
but it's federal officers.
This man served his country for 3 decades or more in the Navy. He's served in NASA. He's put his life on the line for all of us. He knows what it means to follow a lawful order. He's given them, right? There's no way that he, by saying you do not have to follow unlawful orders. In fact, it is your duty not to, is anything that is punishable. This is a.
But Christopher, how can we expect every enlisted man to be a lawyer and know what is and isn't lawful?
But you swear to protect the Constitution. You don't swear to protect the person running the United States. Like everybody that serves I want to say serves the federal government. Some people are not serving the federal government, but anybody that actually works for the federal government and serves in a position like that takes an oath to protect the Constitution. And like, I don't know, you're not all lawyers, but there should be some common sense, which I feel stupid for even saying that out loud.
I don't know if my last remark came across as sarcastic enough. Please do not firebomb my house.
I not today at least, but no, I know.
Yeah, that is
we're
reserved
all
for Jessi
pretty
to
much on the same. Listen, I'll smile in my mugshot. Don't play with me.
Was it one of these days? This it's gonna be like one of those revenge hitman type movies. Jesse's just gonna show up like Kill Bill style at all of our houses.
It's not gonna be you guys. It's gonna be like the stripper that bought my house and threatened to call the police for us squatting. Bitch, I will burn your new house down and smile in my fucking mugshot. That's just a joke. Disclaimer. I'm not actually burning anybody's fucking house down except Mike's. So piss off.
But I think this goes to how well this show has aged. And we're taking a situation around a Cardassian dissident movement. This whole idea of, and the dissident movement within the context of the show is they are opposed to the military running all of the Cardassian government and society, and how translatable it still is to what we're dealing with now, which also, by the way, makes me wonder because there are multiple people on a certain political side in this country who say they are fans of this franchise. I seriously don't know if they watch the same episodes or boy, did they take the wrong fucking lessons out of some of these.
It's never not baffling. I actually just heard about, I can't say it without giving something I shouldn't away. But yeah, like that just entered into my sphere recently and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what version of the show did they watch?
It's like Ted Cruz is one I'm thinking of, who has famously said he's a fan of Star Trek, and I'm watching that going, dude, you watched the wrong goddamn show, I think.
Well,
media literacy.
It's like you said,
they don't
man,
have it.
Like, we've managed to find 2 different series now where they've like come up with this far-fetched extreme version of the future in satire form, and then we're like sitting back a couple years later looking at it like, well, damn, we're basically living this right now. So why don't we just, as soon as DS9's over, we're gonna go 3 for 3 and fire up Battlestar Galactica. And
I thought you were talking about The Simpsons, my dumbass.
I mean,
Mike, at this point, given how much of a mess we've made of it, bring on the Cylons. What worse
yeah,
could they do?
I know.
Hell, they're probably being programmed by Elon Musk right now. All right, any other discussion on the actual episode we watched?
Yes.
Nicole.
I've been patiently waiting. What I thought was interesting, you guys kind of touched on this, but what any government or people in power don't want is people to use critical thinking skills. They want them to comply and do what they're supposed to do and listen, right? But these students and this professor did the complete opposite, right? They used their critical thinking, their free will, and they've made decisions and they have a movement going and they have a whole underground going. And that is exactly what the Cardassians don't want because they want you to comply. They want you to listen to their military. And this can apply to any government, anybody in power, anywhere in the world, fictional or not. We might even be in a fictional world where we live now. But I just thought it was an interesting parallel to kind of the power struggle and the use of the word terrorist with these people. Because anytime you have somebody who has a different outlook, kind of like I think it was Christopher, it was so long ago, I don't remember at this point, about the you can still be a patriot and have different thoughts and want different things. Maybe it was you, Mike, but just because you don't agree with what whoever is in power thinks, it doesn't mean it's not wrong, it's not right. And it doesn't mean that you don't love your country or you don't care about your movement or whatever it is that you're supporting. So I really like how they kind of put that in there. And I do think that that was a really important theme that was very subtle, but like probably one of the more important themes of the episode, to me, I think at least, because it wasn't the highlight or like it wasn't the focus. It was just a small piece of it, but I think it was the most impactful. And you really saw that at the end when that Tehran guy came and he wanted to kill them. And if believe, maybe I'm mistaken, but didn't he tell them that he would release all these Bajorans, but he said, I'm not releasing them. I just said that basically. So basically he fucking lied to Cisco and like just wanted to kill those people and like take them, you know? So it just goes to show you that like people are fucking full of shit. And like this was a prime example of somebody lying to get what they want. And then, well, they got at the end. So I was pretty happy about that. So
Got.
yeah, I mean, I more so enjoyed Tehran getting got than I did the romantic shipping part of this episode. So that's where I'm at today.
So speaking of romantic shipping, sorry, I don't have a hand to raise on my phone unless you want me flipping around this shit every fucking 5 seconds. So can we just talk about how stupid the whole fucking relationship thing was? She's like, no, I hate you. No, I hate you. No, I hate you. And then she shoots him. And then she's like, oh my God, I love you so much. And I'm going to do this weird fucking soft porn thing right in front of like, me, which
And they
bothers
only
me.
dated for a month.
Right. Okay. Well,
Right.
like, listen,
All of this was for a month.
Christopher, we know people who
I
have.
am people.
I'm just thinking clearly none of you people have ever clerked a domestic violence order of protection hearing before because this just sounds like a normal Friday.
Right. I didn't want to throw you out there, but if you're going to put yourself out there, Christopher, we can, like, me and you didn't even actually date, and here we are, ex-husband and ex-wife. Like, it's fine. But like, people go hot and heavy, and all of a sudden, like, they're mourning the person when they only like dated for a week, whatever. But like, it was the quick flip and the way that it was flipped. Like, she shot his ass, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry." Like, finger off the trigger, bitch.
She said it was an
accident.
accident. She just had poor trigger control.
I mean, what was the news? 2 weeks ago, a guy got shot by his dog because the dog jumped up where the gun was.
Just another day in Texas.
Or Florida. I don't know which one was it.
Yeah, who knows?
So guns don't go off on accident. You got to put your finger in the trigger. That's just kind of how this works. And fun fact of the day, if you ever drop a gun, just let it hit the floor. Don't fucking try to catch it, because that's usually how people shoot themselves. But the whole fucking thing was just, I was laughing. I thought it was funny. Ryan would call me a prude because I was like, ugh. Like, I stopped rubbing her neck, let go of his ear. This is this fucking Ferenc Dashian porn. is
So one,
not for
Ryan
me.
will be on in a
But
few weeks, Jessi, and we will have Ryan specifically address your prudishness. But from a little bit more of the trivia on the behind the scenes, you're talking about the touching and the kissing and the whole Ferengi thing. Let's just say Armin Shimmerman's makeup is very, very orange.
So is the president's.
And Mary Mary Crosby's is very not. It's very gray. So whenever those two would physically interact, they would have to bring the makeup artist back on set because there would
amazing.
be some gray on the orange, some orange on the gray, and they would have to fix all that. So Jessi just let that haunt your nightmares for a while. He left his orange goo all over.
Did none of them paint miniatures before? You just clear coat that, and then it's
I feel like that's what happens with what's her name, Ivanova. It's not Ivanova. What's her
Melania.
name? What's the first lady?
Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the
What
House.
is it?
Melania.
Melania. There we
You're
go.
thinking.
What's her daughters? Okay, we're done with this. My brain is not braining today. But can you imagine how ugly their fucking kids would be? Like, I was watching the two of them. I'm like, God, fuck, I hope you two are past your childbearing ages because that would be the ugliest fucking child in the world. Sit on that one for a little bit.
You
You're
ever seen that
welcome.
movie Mannequin?
I love that movie.
Be like that, but worse.
Wow.
I love
Lots.
Mannequin. It's such a good movie.
Actually gave me night.
Wait, what's
I think-
crazy to me is that is Samantha from Sex and the City before she was Samantha. It's Kim Cattrall as the mannequin. It
Yeah.
blew my mind.
And she was in Star Trek 6.
Yeah.
Discovery Country.
Valeris
Really?
from Star Trek 6, yeah.
Hilarious.
There's
No
six
shit.
of them.
No shit. Oh,
Yeah.
there's more than 6.
Well,
What
yeah,
is
she
that?
was
What
Lieutenant
do you mean
Valeris
Star
in
Trek
6 because
6?
they
Like,
couldn't get either of the
There's-
Savics back.
Right.
There's 6 movies from the original series cast, Jessi.
movies. Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
Oh, okay. Yes. Thank you. I got it now.
Well, and also I mentioned Mary Crosby was who played Professor Lang in this. And Mary Crosby's the daughter of Bing Crosby, but also the aunt of Denise Crosby, who played Lieutenant Yar in the first season of Next Generation. So Lieutenant Yar's aunt is Professor Lang in this one.
That's interesting.
Yar.
Keeping it in the family.
Damn it. Why do
And
I?
it was mentioned earlier, but the scene in the tailor shop between Quark and Garrick was really good. Just the two of them talking around the issue, but talking with using the dress as a metaphor that was such a good scene. My mind just went blank. But it was,
I choose
I'll-
Alice. I was like, what's happening?
I'll back you
He
up on this
glitched.
and just say that like at this point in the show, we still don't really know what Garrick's deal is, and I love that. And I love the fact that like people assume that he's a spy, and I'm absolutely tickled by the idea that he's not a spy. He's just really, really full of shit and really good at improv. And just leans into it every time somebody talks to him like he's a spy. And he's like, "Ooh, what if I am?
Right.
What if the dress is going to go out of season?" Like,
Emily.
So how much do we trust about what Garrick revealed about himself? Because
I
so
don't
far
trust any of it.
he's been
because-
really, really cagey, and even now, up until he shot the other Cardassian, did you ever know what he was actually going to do?
No, and I
And
don't
did
believe
an
any of it
opportunity-
because the name of this podcast is Especially the Lies. And from the intro, you can hear him talking to Bashir. And so I don't believe a damn word that he says. I'm just going to take that into that little bit into context. And I don't know what to believe with him.
But it's true. I mean, his quote is basically, it's true, even the lies.
Mhm.
Well, my shady count is up with him from the minute I met him for sure.
Oh, the Nicole Shady count.
Hmm
Okay, but did you get teary when they said their final goodbye?
No.
I did not. No. I was like, all right, come on, let's go. Fucking say goodbye and go.
Right.
I will say I did enjoy seeing the softer side of Quark. And there was a couple times where I thought maybe he was going to be completely selfless, but then he was like, I'll give you the cloaking device, but you have to stay. You know what I mean? There's always a if, or if you do this, and she even called him out. And also He fucking stole her security codes to steal money from the Cardassians. Like, that's how they broke up. Like, he really, and she called him out too. She's like, you're selfish. You're always doing whatever you can for a profit. You don't really care about anyone. And I do believe that he did love her, but I do think Quark is Quark, and the rules of acquisition are going to say you do what you can to turn a buck. So he'd probably turn on her in a second, and she knew that. And even when she said, I'll come back one day, she was probably like, peace out, motherfucker. I won't come back. But I don't, it was interesting because I did like that part. I didn't really care for the whole I'm going to shoot you and then lay on the floor and tell you I love you kind of thing. It's like, just be honest up front. She was trying to put up a front and be tough, and you could tell that there was still something there between them. Like, you're not fooling nobody, lady. All right, calm down. So it was kind of sweet to see that. I could have done without the whole rubbing of the ears and all that, but
Oh, come on. What's a little umox?
But is the reason that you aren't shipping them as much, Nicole, is because that Quark had much better chemistry in this episode with Garrick and especially with Odo. When he's in the security office begging Odo, and first when he begs him and he can't see him, and he's like,
yes.
look at me, and he just like disappeared from frame. was-
Well, let me add this one in. So, Ira Stephen Bear, who's one of the producers and will go on to be showrunner, come about mid-season 3, I believe it's when Bear takes over. So, Ira Stephen Bear does not like this episode. And the reason Ira Stephen Bear does not like this, and I'll also add in here, the original basis for this episode, it was based heavily on the movie Casablanca. So, Ira Stephen Bear does not like it because he feels Quark comes across as too heroic. And one of the quotes he made was, I felt we didn't need another tough, sexy, swashbuckling character on the show. We had enough of those. We needed more offbeat, interesting characters. It should have been Beauty and the Beast or Woody Allen. That quote hasn't aged well at all. And every woman he's ever been with in the films. You don't take Woody Allen and make him into Bogart. You have Bogart telling Woody Allen how to behave. Again, this quote does not age that well, just for clarity. But he does it through his Woody Allen persona. So I think even the producer did not particularly care for this for the reason of they didn't like the Quark scenes.
I will say I do know what it feels like to be that short when he disappeared, so I feel you on that, buddy.
I don't know. I don't really buy that. I like it. I like the idea that deep down, Quark is definitely willing to cross a line for love, but it's not going to stop him from turning around and looking back at the line and maybe reaching for it a little bit with stealing somebody's PIN number. But he's like, all right, I'll let this profit go, but I'm going to try and get a little bit of other profit to make up for it, like.
Well, and like he was scheming on the like she was like, we have this mission to do. This is important, and he's like, yeah, there's opportunities for more profit, a free Cardassia, open Cardassia. I can make a lot of money, right? So that was never like too far from his mind, and she knows that's what he's gonna do. He's
a
who
Ferengi.
he is. Yeah.
Yeah. The man would sell his own brother. Like
It's in their DNA. He's probably tried to.
Right. I don't put too much faith in the fact that he's ever going to be anything but a Ferengi. So like I love that he's an awesome character. I love watching him. He's an amazing actor, but his character in itself is there's like not a lot of depth past the very slimy gonna make money type. So no Hallmark movies for me. He'll do it all for love. I cannot do any of that.
Is the season for Hallmark.
Dax has the right idea though from past episodes, right? You just gotta know what they are and what he's gonna do, and like you gotta accept it.
Accept it for who he is, yeah.
Like once you get past that block, it's like they're actually a lot of fun when you know exactly how he's gonna try to pick through your pockets every time you turn around. Like...
Go ahead, Christopher.
I think the other thing that I wanted to talk about was the little bit that we saw Commander Sisko, how he clearly had a disagreement with the Bajoran government, and thought it was interesting that you could see that he disagreed, but he was following along with the prisoner exchange. But there's that line there, and this is probably more for the predictions, but there's something that they're going to tug at, that there's not going to be always agreement with him and what they're doing on Bajor.
Emily.
I forgot to write it down, but I just remembered to ask the newbies, what did you think of Odo releasing them? Because up until now, Odo's the security officer. He enforces the rules. And in this instance, he has decided that the rules don't make sense and wouldn't promote justice. So he basically says, fuck them, and releases prisoners.
I loved it. I mean, he even said, I reviewed their files and they didn't do anything that would justify a death, which is what they would get if they go back to Cardassia. So, in this sense, it's not justice to give them over because they're just going to be killed when they haven't done anything that warranted that. So, I was like, good on you, Odo.
I mean, I think somebody else, whoever was talking, Chris, I think it was you talking about Cisco's and his disagreement with the policy, kind of going along with it. Like we've already seen examples in the past, so far in season 1 and 2, where the provisional government has given orders that Cisco has disagreed with. And I think it would have been interesting for this to have been like a two-parter or something where they could have given it more time and given a little bit of attention to the other side of what was probably going on. Because I think we kind of know that Cisco is going to follow orders, but he's going to also try to work his angle to do what he thinks is the right thing to do. He's going to try to work within the system. He's going to, what do you call it when you maliciously go along with what
malicious compliance?
He's going to try to maliciously comply with what the government has told him to do. And we kind of missed out on all of that potential meat for what I think was a pretty potent situation that they set up between a prisoner exchange and political prisoners and that whole thing. So I do, like, I hear you on that. Like, I kind of wish we had gotten to see more of that. The thing with Odo, though, to me was just nuts because it speaks to a lot to his character. There was no way he wasn't just gonna like eat shit big time if that went down the way that they hoped it would.
Right.
Well, I think we've already seen a little bit of that malicious compliance thing with Cisco back at the start of season 2 with the Circle, the Siege, and that whole trouble when he was basically abandoned the station and crippled the thing, shut half the systems off, and then hung out and raised hell.
Right. That is totally what I was thinking of.
Emily, to your question about what did we think about Odo letting them go. In the first season, in A Man Alone, he said laws change depending on who's making them, but justice is justice.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he has this very keen sense of right and wrong, and that he obviously didn't agree with the law and with the punishment that they were going to receive. So he enacted his own form of justice and let them go. And it's weird to see somebody in that position do that, somebody who is supposed to be upholding the laws of the station, right? And if your security officer is all of a sudden not agreeing with the decisions that are being made by those who are in charge, that's a cause for a problem.
Well, and he said he kind of like was operating on the rules are made up and the points don't matter, right? But they do matter, and Cisco's gonna get in that ass if it goes sideways. Like, you cannot agree with the law, but you follow your upper's command. And like, we see it all the time with people extraditing. There are certain countries that are like, absolutely not, we're not going to extradite because we don't agree with what you're seeking this person for. And there's other countries that are like, take them and deal with it. Like, don't know what to tell you. Sorry that you come from a shit country. And then there's countries that are like zero extradition. So I think it just matters where you're at and who you're talking to. But Odo would have got a foot up his squishy little ass if it had gone sideways.
Also, this kind of goes to the point of the following a lawful order. If he didn't see it as lawful, to kind of bring this back to the conversation we were having at the beginning, he didn't feel that he knew that they were going to be put to death, right?
Right,
He
but it
knew
wasn't
that
his
they were
call.
going to be killed.
Like, at the end of the day, it's not your call. It's the commander of the station's call. And like, listen, I'm not saying I agree with letting somebody go that's going to be fucking killed. But like, let's all just, I think we can agree that it was going to be his ass if it went sideways. Like, that was, you can choose not to follow the rules, but there's consequences for every choice.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying
there
that
are
he was wrong.
consequences, and I'm not saying that he wouldn't have to face consequences. What I'm saying is that to him, this was something that was basically an unlawful order, and he wasn't going to follow it. And I kind of have to commend him for that.
Though.
Yeah, it is. And it's
Right.
something, like I said, whether he was right or wrong, when your security officer starts not following the orders, you
Hmm.
have a problem.
You have a problem as a commander. You may not
Yes.
have a problem as like an ethics. You may not have an ethics problem because like let's I mean I don't think that there's anybody maybe there is. I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I think he made the right choice, right? Like ethically he made the right choice because those people are going to be put to death. But like as a military chain of command, he made the wrong fucking choice to the commander. You know what I mean? The only problem that was going to cause was to the person making the rules. Like,
But at the same time, we're talking about the malicious compliance and Commander Cisco clearly not agreeing with what's going on.
mhm,
So is he really gonna get mad at Odo, or is he gonna,
yeah,
have one of those scenes where he's like, I have to yell at you because Starfleet and the Bajorans are gonna be on my ass if I don't
mhm,
do something about this. And so I'm doing something about this, but how dare you? You shouldn't do
yeah,
it. And
yeah,
I lost the paperwork on what we were going to talk about. And,
sure.
so just go back to your office and everything's fine.
Well, and we don't know the conversations that went on behind the scenes. We like to act like everything that we don't see in these shows didn't happen, but like you just don't know. And I don't think any of us thought that that was the wrong choice in this situation. But what about next time? Like you said, if you have your commander of or your chief of security just fucking going rogue and making up his own rules depending on what he finds right or wrong, you've lost the chain of command at that point. You got a bigger problem in the military setup.
Yeah, I mean, I think no matter how it worked out in the end, I think Odo is very likely going to get reamed by Cisco, whether Cisco agreed with what Odo did or not. I think he's going to
Hmm.
say, it wasn't for you to make that call, it was for you to let me, as the commander, decide to break the rules and tell you what to do.
Right,
You should not have
right.
gone off on your own to do that. And like you said, and like Chris said, it'll probably be a shouting match and a slap on the wrist and I'm really mad at
Hmm.
you. Good job. See you
Right,
tomorrow.
right,
Like kind of thing.
right.
Don't do it again.
My boss is like, it's my job to keep the umbrella over you. Like, if it's going to come down, it's going to come down on me first and then you. So that's why he always says that he's like covering my ass. Don't go rogue because when you go rogue, that rains down on you and then the consequences fall directly on you. So I think that that's the job of the supervisor, the manager, the commander, or whatever. It worked out this time.
So I think we've just about beat this one. So let's go ahead and get any of our questions and predictions from our newbies, and then we will go from there. So let's start with Jessi.
My prediction is that I never have to see a Cardassian Ferengi baby.
Is that a
That's it.
hope or a prediction?
That's a fucking hope. God, like listen, in B5 there was like the the no fly list, right? Like don't these two species don't mix. I would hope that the Ferengi and the Cardassians would be on that list of please do not reproduce. You guys can do whatever you want to do the
Jesse,
weird stuff
Jesse,
with your
you think
your
you think there are species that can't coexist? I need you to go watch Zootopia.
Well, I mean, listen, you do whatever you want.
Duty
I just don't want to
hops.
see your babies. Please don't reproduce. That's all I got.
Hops and Fox or whatever it is.
Okay.
Don't have big
Christopher.
children's, so
So, are we going to see more Garrick soon? Does he become like a regular or a semi-regular on the show? Is there going to be more conflict between the Federation and Bajor with like what I alluded to with Commander Cisco not agreeing with them? And also, are we going to see Dr. Lang again? Because I just think that when they put characters in a lot of makeup, you generally wind up seeing them again because it's a lot of time for it to just be a one-off. So I wonder if we're going to happen to see her again.
And Nicole.
That was actually my question too, is Dr. Lang actually going to come back before the series ends, like she said, or is she a one and done?
All right, I think that covers all of our questions and predictions. For those of you who would like to engage with the conversation more, we do have all of our links to our social medias in the show notes down below, including the link to our Patreon, which any level of our Patreon does get you access to our Discord server. Discord is where we have all of our unhinged conversations. We have various little corners of Discord. Christopher keeps up a sports section, Mike and music. Emily has a smut corner, but lately there hasn't been much smut, which I don't know what to tell you about that one, Emily, that you're just not getting enough smut in your life. You're muted in talking about smut that you're not getting.
It's true. There's not enough smut in Emily's smut corner. Because the last book I read, I was led to believe, based on the name and cover, that it would be smutty. Zero smut. I read over 400 pages. Zero smut.
Zero smut?
It was called Sin and Chocolate and had a half-naked man on the cover. No smut.
Sin and chocolate. Wow.
That's my favorite.
I'm a little angry.
So if any of our listeners are on our Discord, damn it, Christopher.
Jesus
I'm throwing out some
Christ.
smut for you. So if any of our listeners are on the Discord server, I believe what Emily is saying is she would like some more smut. So go over and join Christopher and Emily's smut corner and add some smut for Emily. She will appreciate it greatly.
She really
But
likes
you can join in
handwritten
the full
smut.
conversation that we have out there. You could also do us a big favor on your podcast app of choice, which would be Apple, because that's the one that the algorithm seems to be fucking us the most on right now. If you could drop us a 5-star review, that would be great. If you could actually take 5 seconds and write a review, I don't care if you tell us that we suck. I don't care if you say Jessie's a bitch. We're used to it by now. But give us 5 stars when you do.
Yeah, you don't get to do that at 4 stars. I'll find you. As a
And
joke.
if you do it at 3, she's really going to be pissed.
Yeah.
But if you
Or
leave
the
us
one
a
and
5
two.
star, say whatever you want.
Yep.
She'll read it
I
on
told
air.
you. Yes. You can say whatever you want with 5 stars and I will read it on a special.
Yeah, we will do our own version of mean tweets right here
Yep.
on
We
Especially the Lies.
should save that for a new Patreon tier.
Jessi will read whatever you want at a certain tier. That could make some bank right there, Jessi.
I don't know how.
Fanfic.
What can we
Got
what
insight
can we
for this.
volunteer Chris to do since he's not here?
Yeah. He
we
can
have him
play the
read-
male role.
Can we have him read anything you want, like in an erotic way, maybe?
Oh boy.
He does have a good deep voice.
I'm sure
Okay,
he
and
would
notice how
enjoy it.
Mike said that. Not any of the women here. That was Mike, okay?
Just out here doing God's work, Mike.
Listen. Chris and I have a relationship. He
On
doesn't
that
know it.
note,
It's a tall guy
Doesn't
thing.
know it.
on that note, this has been our discussion of
Holy
profit and
shit.
loss here on Especially the Lies. Make sure to join us back next week where we will be watching the episode and reviewing Blood Oath. I have been Blake, and with me has been
Prentice.
Emily.
Christopher.
Nicole.
And my
Oh, wow. Okay, I'll go fuck myself. Thanks, Mike and Jessi.
oh, whoops! I just saw the first. Okay.
Thank you for listening to Especially the Lies, a Deep Space Nine podcast. You can find all the places to listen to and watch this podcast by searching for Especially the Lies on your podcast app or on YouTube. We want to hear from you, so join the conversation at Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe and leave a review where you are listening to or watching this podcast. Especially the Lies is not affiliated with, and the podcast has not been prepared, approved, or licensed by Paramount or any other owners of the Star Trek copyright. All clips included in this podcast are the intellectual property of the respected copyright holders. They are included here for purposes of review, and no infringement is intended.
Why have you brought me here? Show yourselves. What do you want?
The Cisco has returned to us. He arrives with questions.
There are always questions.
Welcome back, everybody. If you have not watched past the episode Profit and Loss, and you don't want to have spoilers, now's the time for you to join our newbies and head off back through that wormhole. Otherwise, fair warning, there's going to be some spoilers here. So let's get started with what our newbies asked about. Emily, what do we got?
Okay, we're gonna start with the easy one. Do we see Natima again?
Sadly, no.
No.
And I'm going to say, and this is where we gave the spoiler warning. They blew an opportunity to bring that character back
Yeah.
because you've got when the Cardassian government falls, which is the whole
Mm-hmm.
premise for the start of season 4, and the civilian government takes over. You have the perfect opportunity that they could have either brought back Professor Lang or the two students somehow and
Mm-hmm.
tied in with that. So the opportunity was there, and for whatever reason, those characters didn't reappear, but they easily could have in that.
Yeah. The next semi-easy question, do we see more conflict between Starfleet and Bajor?
Absolutely.
Lots.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of it in the future. Yeah.
It'll be good times. Good times.
Especially once my children becomes
Mm.
Kai.
I'm so excited for that.
Space Karen. Oh, yes. When Kai Wynn really
Oh,
comes
yes,
around.
Kai wins. Space Karen.
I love her. I love
We
her.
haven't seen her in a while. We miss her.
Nurse Ratched becomes a Vedic, becomes Kai of Bajor.
This is another one of those things where, like, during the until the rewatch, I really thought that we saw a lot more of Kai Wynn than we have so far. I mean, it's been what, 2 episodes? 3, maybe?
It's more than, yeah, it's been like 3 episodes, I think, maybe total.
Because she was in The Circle, and I think we saw her one time before that, but it's...
Yeah, she's only been, but she's coming up. She's going to be
Yep.
in a little bit later
Mhm.
this season, and do we get more Kai Wynn later.
Oh, yeah.
And if Jessi has an issue with Cardassian Ferengi relationships, wait till Kai Wynn's getting it on with Mark Alimo.
Yeah, I'm excited
so
for
long to
that.
wait for that. That's going to be like, what, 3-4 years from now?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
All right. So probably my favorite question is, do we see more of Garrick? Does he become a regular?
We see more of him. He's not necessarily regular, but we see him all the time, and it gets better every time we see him in an episode. I don't think there's one episode that's wasted with that character because he plays it so well. And the kind of indirect way he has conversations about something, just like he did this episode to address the metaphors.
Mm-hmm.
I like how they really wrote the character. You don't know what's really going on. You don't know what's really a truth or a lie. I remember one episode, they were like, oh yeah, weren't you a gardener some time ago at the ambassadorship somewhere on Vulcan or Romulus? Oh yeah, I was a gardener. I've done many things. So you are a killer. You've killed political officials and all this stuff. Oh, no. I just happen to be in the same room. So Garrett's by far the most interesting character to have on the show. So I'm glad people are starting to see how good of a character he is going forward.
I have always found it fascinating that he is not a main character, but he is so integral to the future plot line. Like I mean, I always feel like he's in more episodes than he's actually in because of how embedded he is into the storyline as we get further along. And yeah, I think they're really going to enjoy watching his character progress.
Well, and we're going to see that a lot sooner because
The Wire, episode 22.
we're 3 episodes of the show, 2 for us because we're going to do the Maquis part 1 and 2 as one episode. But so 2 more episodes for us, and yeah, we're to The Wire, which they mentioned especially the lies quote, and it's going to be interesting to see what they think because that comes from The Wire.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to get their take on that episode. Because I remember when we did Gray 17 and the aha moment where people figured out what Gray 17 was in that show. So it'll be interesting to see if we have that kind of same, wait a minute, when that quote shows up in the episode here.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts or things we want to share or talk about on this episode or where we're headed?
I'm excited for next week for Blood Oath.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I am too. I'm excited that they're going to get to see a lot more depth to Quark and like just all the shit that he ends up getting into, the unlikely stuff that, everybody sees him right now as being very one-dimensional, as like the schemy little shopkeeping con man, but like when they start getting into the whole Klingon side storyline and House of Quark and stuff, it's gonna blow minds.
I was just thinking House of Quark with him and Grilka.
Yeah, it's gonna blow minds. I can't wait.
Yeah, for the newbies who haven't seen like TOS or TNG, it will be interesting to see how they perceive the Klingons without like the previous influence of the other series where the Klingons were different.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And we're not even
going to
discuss the multiple retcons of how that has worked.
Right. Well, and even without talking about TOS. I guess they're gonna see the TOS era Klingons real soon, aren't they? But
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking, even without TNG, I think coming into Trek more or less blind to the whole Klingon culture thing, however you want to call it. Like, I think it's going to be interesting to get reactions from people like Nicole about kind of how they feel about it and the sort of what their take on the very idiosyncratic nature of the Klingon whole thing is. I suspect Jessi will have a big problem with it.
It'd be interesting with Jessi and the Klingons.
I'm wondering what they'll think once Worf shows up. And then you get the Worf and Jadzia dynamic.
Well, we'll hear more about that from Jessi too. I have a
Oh,
feeling.
I'm sure.
There'll be some thoughts.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Worf to show up.
I do think that's a very solid episode, though. They're going to like that when that episode goes down. I think, too, we'll be able to make some tie-ins back to this episode with the Cardassian dissident movement and some of the changes, and especially considering where we leave off this season with the Jim Hadar into the Search and some of those. So I think it's going to pick up, and the ones who have been concerned about serialization are going to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. I'm wondering, I know we were doing the Maquis episodes in 2 parts, so that's like 2 serialized episodes. I'm wondering when they'll really start to notice that there has been serialization running through the background.
Yeah.
Like it
Well,
hasn't
that's why,
always
what was
been
it? A couple weeks
obvious.
ago, someone, I think Jessi was commenting on the lack of serialization, and I think I flat out said, is it a lack of serialization or you're just not paying attention? And I think it went right over her head when I threw that at her.
Yeah, because it's subtle for a while and then it starts.
Mm-hmm. It is very subtle, but yeah, then it does absolutely kick in.
But I'm looking forward to the Blood Oath episode. I like the episode. I think it's a solid one.
So I think that wraps us up, unless any of you have anything else you want to add.
One last thing. We were mentioning this in the conversation. The series still holds up well, talking about issues, terrorism, insurgencies, things of that nature. Do we know if there was a backstory in terms of Ira Burr or Michael Piller really doing a deep dive and trying to understand these issues? Because they do it so well, and it's held up so well the last 30 years. It just makes me wonder, did they really study this in depth to really give this life in this series?
And that, I don't know. I'm not real sure what Pillar or Ira Stephen Bear's backgrounds were or where they looked in, but you're right. They did a fantastic job with the way they did this and have really, truly kept it relevant to here.
I think, yeah, that's something we probably should look at
Yeah.
to talk about in the future, because we did with B5. Obviously, we talked about it a lot with J. Michael Straczynski and what his background was, and it's more to the point maybe what his childhood was like. If you've read the biography, it's crazy, and it absolutely colored that show. So it's well within the realm of possibility that those guys had something going on as well that we're missing here. So I don't know if they even have biographies or anything out there that you can read. Maybe they do. Any dear listeners, if any of you know something that we don't, please share.
All right. On that, I think that wraps us up for this evening, or wraps us up for this week. We will be back next week with Blood Oath. I have been Blake, and with me has been
Prentice,
Emily,
and Mike.